So let's get started. Okay, we're getting started with Medical Monday. National Blood Pressure Awareness Month. It's here. It's the month of May. Do you know how to properly take your blood pressure? Do you know what piece of equipment works best? Maybe you don't. But we're going to talk about an article that came from the CDC. And it actually answers many different questions, many different topics that community members talk about every day. I see it. I see what you're writing on Facebook. You want to know, are the watches accurate? Are the cuffs around the wrist accurate? What type of arm cuff should I get? When should I take my blood pressure? How often should I take my blood pressure? So if you're curious as to why you should be taking your blood pressure, where you can get your blood pressure checked, what actually affects your blood pressure, the correct way to measure your blood pressure, how healthcare professionals actually measure your blood pressure, and how you can measure your own blood pressure at home, how often you should take your blood pressure, what do you do if your numbers are high? There's so much information in this article. There's actually also a log you can download or you can print off that'll help you get started on capturing that information. But what you didn't know is so many of the Omron blood pressure cuffs have a Bluetooth function, and then you can download a free app and it captures all of your blood pressure information, and you can send it right off to your doctor so that they can review it and keep it in your chart. Bet you didn't know that, but it's true. So you should take a look at the article. I'll tell you right now, here's a hint. The watches are not super duper accurate. The cuffs by the wrist, they're okay, but an arm cuff is always best. It's always going to be best. But you got to make sure you're using the right size cuff for your arm and that you're positioning it correctly between the elbow and the upper arm. You also should have your cuff calibrated. When you buy a new cuff, take it to your doctor's office. Let's make sure that your cuff says what the doctor's office says, right? And then when it's daylight savings, whether we're springing forward or we're falling back, whatever the case may be, or if we're even still doing that anymore. Well, we know that time of year is when you're changing your batteries in your smoke detectors, if you still have batteries, because some people are now batteryless. This is the time that you're going to change your batteries in your blood pressure cuff. It's important, at least once a year. Let's make sure you have fresh batteries and get that cuff calibrated. But check out the article. There really is a lot of important information. You don't want to be hostage to your cuff. No doctor is going to want you to be that way. But based upon your own condition, they may require you to check your blood pressure a little bit more often than somebody else. So don't compare your story to someone else's, and don't listen to advice that's given online. Take it for what it's worth, a comment to take back to your own physician. And a lot of times when you're changing medications, that's when the doctors really want you to watch your blood pressure. They want to know over the next 6 weeks how your body's responding and adjusting to the meds. Are you finding that your blood pressure is going higher later in the day? Well, maybe you need to adjust the dosage then in the morning. Or if you're waking up, which is naturally a time when blood pressure can be a little higher, but if it's staying higher, maybe nighttime meds need to be addressed. There's it's like chemistry, it's like science. All these things that the doctors know to do to manipulate our medications to make sure our blood pressure stays a little bit more consistent. It's going to have spikes. Spikes are normal. You watch a scary movie, it might spike. You watch a love movie, it might spike. You might eat spicy food, it's gonna spike. You're gonna go out to the grocery store and you're gonna come in and bring in your bags and try to take your blood pressure, it's going to be higher. So learn the tools, the tips, and the techniques to properly take your blood pressure. You'll get that stuff from this article.